Morning. So it's the Friday morning after Thanksgiving, and I've just got on. It's late in the morning. It's probably about 10. I'm gonna guess. What is it? Oh shoot! It's 11:15. Anyway, so the lake is 3 feet low. Fish moved off the top of the grass right there, and I've come down. I'm actually down on. I'm in Caney's where I am. And I was curious to see if there's any grass down here, and there is. And that's super shallow. But I mean, that's pretty growing green hydrilla. I'm in 4 feet of water, and you can see. I think y'all can probably see. There's some super shallow grass down here. The lake's 3 feet low, 3-ish feet low, and what we're going to have happen is we're going to have this water come up and flood that super shallow grass. Most of the lake, there's no hydrilla. So the progression historically that I've seen when this happens, if the water rises, is these fish are going to move to the hay grass and or the cypress knobs first, and that will be your shallow fishing. Otherwise, what you really want to try to find is little, and there's a lot of them, little bitty brush piles and or stumps in that 3 to 9 foot range. If you can find that, those are really going to load up with fish as these fish start staging up in December and January. I think your choices are going to be probably work a jerkbait real slow around this stuff, but if you work it at all, it's going to get hung up. Probably a little light swim jig, 1/4 ounce swim jig, maybe even a 3/8 according to what trailer you put on it. A chatterbait, again, a light chatterbait up around this stuff. I'm throwing a 1/2 ounce trap. Now I'm throwing a rattle trap because a rattle trap runs a little bit shallower than, say, a quake does, and I'm throwing on 20-pound cigar in Vizex, again, to kind of let that line help me keep that bait up in the water column. I still want to work it as slow as I can, but I want to keep it out of that grass. I mean, I want to clip the grass, but I don't want it burying down in that grass. So I'm going to push through this stuff. We'll see what's happening. I mean, there's a grass line right there, but it's not 2 feet deep, so there may be some fish up in this stuff. The water temp is what I've seen, 57 to 59 degrees. So the water's cooled off to the point that there should be a trap bite. There should also be an A-rig bite pretty soon. And that A-rig bite, you're going to have to probably get around some standing pole timber to catch those fish because they want to suspend as much as they can near something. I really wanted to get out deep today and do some spoon and some tailspinner fishing, but it's windy, and again, I'm not super stable yet with my recent hip replacement. So I'm probably going to stay off the main body of water, but I'm going to fish around in here, and we'll see what we can figure out, and hopefully we can catch a few fish for you guys. Well, I shot that little intro this morning, and I thought it was actually going to be a decent day. You know, that cold front came through last night. It never got out of the 50s today. I stayed bundled up all day today. A little bit of a north wind, but some cloud covers, so I really thought they'd bite a little bit today, but they really didn't. I had 4 bites today. I caught 3 fish. I don't think I have any of them on camera because they were so few apart. I would not film thinking I'd eventually get on a group of fish. I might have one of those fish. If I do, I'll show it to you right here, but I don't really think I do.
I had him on. Dang it.
I can see him down there. That's that new 6-cent tail spinner. He ripped it, but look out, little guy. That's interesting.
I had a short fish, a keeper, and one about 4.5. And all 3 of the better fish came out offshore. I'm gonna say 18 to 20 feet deep. I just looked, I was kind of curious. I idled a ton today. I put 3.5 hours on my motor today, which is a lot for not having been on the water. I probably should have went to fishing history, but I had a day where I could get out here. I'm actually out in the Black Forest. Those of you who know the lake probably figure. And I idled and idled and idled, and I just never saw any kind of a group of fish anywhere. I'd see onesies and twosies, but never, I mean, I threw on some of them, but never much. I did want to get after that little fishing trip with Jim the other day, I wanted to get a video of catching those fish out of the crappie piles where I could actually show y'all one coming up and eating it. So I got this little bit of footage right here. Alright, so from that front camera, you saw that whole thing. I dropped it down on that big old crappie. He darted out of that brush pile and smoked it. And you saw me fight him all the way up. Golly, that's fun. That's something else. Try to catch a couple back to the gas station. That sucker swung out of that bush, looked at it, changed his mind. So I really think what you saw in those videos, which is those fish coming up and look at that bait swimming off, I think that's probably a lot of what happened with the bass today. I will say I was pleased to see there is some shallow grass and caney, but again, it's no deeper than 3.5, 4 feet. I fished a lot of those drains thinking I'd find some clumps out in the drains and maybe catch a fish out of that, but I didn't. The water temp right here is 58 degrees, and you know, a lot of times historically what I've seen is, so there was good grass this time last year before the water got so high and basically killed the grass because the grass couldn't get sunlight. But what I have personally observed in the past is a lot of times those fish, especially in the year immediately after the grass disappears, will still go and try to set up in those same areas. You can still catch them on the trap, but that didn't happen today. And I think it's because, so historically, again, my observations are the trap bite is really good from the water being about, actually even in the high 40s, but about 50 to about 56, 57. And right now the water's not quite consistently down in that 57 degree space. 56 degree space is when it really gets good. And then of course in the springtime, when those fish, you know, they'll position themselves getting ready to spawn, but once it gets that number, you know, they normally start spawning 60, 62 degrees, they'll come back off that trap. Now you'll catch them a little bit post spawn on it, but not like you do through the winter here on Rayburn when we have grass. So I don't think it's just quite cold enough yet for the trap bite, chatterbait bite, jerkbait bite. There's nothing really shallow for them to get on other than shallow brush piles and stumps. The hay grass and the hydrilla is just too shallow. So By the way, I did something I've never done before. I did not put any of my waypoints on this new unit for Rayburn. I've got them, but I don't think I'm going to put them on it. I really want to, I know the 3 or 5 waypoints that I really want to fish. I know kind of where those are. And I think, I can't remember now who I heard say that, but somebody, a really good tournament fisherman that I respect, was talking about the fact that he doesn't load his waypoints year over year onto his units. And I think there's some wisdom in that. There's some wisdom in not fishing history year after year after year, which of course is really easy to do here on Rayburn. Don't get me wrong, I'm still gonna fish some of the same places I have over the years, but I'm gonna go back and figure them out a little bit and kind of approach them a little bit differently this year. So it was a beautiful but a disappointing day. I really, again, I thought they'd bite a little bit better. If I had to do it over again, I would have gone north. I talked about doing that, but I really want to come down here and look around. My understanding is there's some grass at Beach, Norris, Coleman, that there's some grass through there. I don't know exactly where, but I do know that I saw several guys running out of the Caney ramp this morning heading towards Beach. So usually where you see boats going is where you're going to see some of the better grass. But that's kind of my day. I'll be back down here again in a couple of weeks. We're going to talk to Todd again and get an update on the Toledo Bend tracking study. And I'm really looking forward to that. And hopefully get on some fish for you guys. If I can't figure something out, I might call my buddy Byron Branham and get him to carry me out and see if we can't catch a fish or two. I am not above that, boys and girls. I'm not getting to fish as much as I have in the past, so I'm completely disconnected. So I might reach out to old Brian. I enjoy fishing with him a bunch. So anyway, that's my Rayburn report. Cold, but not quite cold enough water. Rolling through fronts, and fish just not wanting to bite today. So I'm gonna take it to the house, go play with the boys. Here we go.